he did not get it. So therefore, he moved to Bangalore and he admitted in Jain College of Computer Application doing for MCA. Then after that, he worked as an Android developer in some companies in Bangalore, and then after that, he joined a back-based company in Amsterdam. Now he is working as an Android developer in a back-based company, Amsterdam, from last 3 years. So with this short introduction of Sachin Kasrati, over to Imran sir.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So the Department of Computer Science always experiments with their events, and this webinar will be no exception. A short video to show our gratitude to everyone present here today, and especially to show our gratitude to the resource person, Sri Sachin sir. I please welcome Yashwai Patil sir to present a short video and do the honors. So ladies and gentlemen, we will be having a virtual flower presentation. I request Yashwai Patil sir to do the honors. Over to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
One second, sir.
Please like and subscribe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. That was quite innovative. Thank you so much. Due to an unforeseeable administrative work, I have to apologize on behalf of our principal, Professor Yasil Patil sir. He couldn't join us today, but we are more than happy to have the rest of the faculty here joining us today. And I also welcome our participants joining us from all over the nation as well as the state. Ladies and gentlemen, without much further ado, I ask our generous resource person, Sri Sachin Kasarati sir, to virtually address us on the topic. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for warm welcome. I'm happy to be part of this session. And this is something which I was about to doing for the last couple of days. Sorry for the interruption. And yeah, I happened to meet with Kiran, who is actually my friend in college at BSc, where he mentioned. So I got this chance from him that I can be presenting my skills of Android development to all the students there who are who will be aspiring to be a software engineer or whatever the role they want to be in a part of technical thing. Right now, without not much wasting my time, I'll just start with the Android thing. First thing I want to address why we need to develop Android apps. That's the first thing we have to be very clear, and that's where you'll get the things started, and also you'll be much more motivated when you're working on something. It might be app or anything else in this thing. The first thing why we are developing for the Android, because Android, as you all know, you guys are using it. Every family at least has 3 to 4 Android devices in these pandemic days. It's very helpful thing. This all are the thing. There is 3 billion devices being used across the world. The Android market has 3 billion device market. For the Google Play Store itself has a lot of apps flooded over the Google Play Store. They're keeping the standards high. The bars have been raised. So now coming to the thing why we need to develop the Android apps. Now you have this market where you can either create your own app for these all audience, or you can be a part of a company which is already doing that, and you can earn a good money out of it, or that is in part of the salary. And coming from the technical background and the Android developer, so I want to give a more clear insights on the salary part of engineer. So that is the first thing which you guys can be motivated. So any Android engineer in the Google, Facebook, whatever we call found, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google. So all these developers earn around 1 crore 50 lakhs a year, which is a huge amount when coming from our background in back in India. So this is the market range for Android engineers these days, but you have to be much more dedicated. The bars are very high. It's not very easy as we it's these are all things which you can Google, and these are the things I wanted to let you know that you this is the, so that's why I'm thinking of making you to understand why we need to develop Android apps first thing. And now, what is Android? What is Android is already you guys might have already known through YouTube or Google. I don't want to get into much into it, but I can give more insights on what is Android. The first thing is, what is Android? Android is an operating system. So this word itself might be, some people will understand, some people might not understand. To make it very clear, it's a, now when you have your own laptops or a computer, now Windows is the operating system. Inside operating system, you run all your Microsoft Office, Microsoft Excel. These are the applications which you are building within the, which are using within the operating system Windows. Same way, when it comes to mobile devices, Android is operating system for the mobile devices, and the apps which you use like WhatsApp, Facebook, or like MS Office, MS Excel within the Android mobile devices. So this is something very brief introduction about Android, but I don't want to get into the more what we call is architectural thing of Android. So I want to get started very soon with the Android development thing. So let me share my screen to do that. And the first thing, where to, what is that we need to have to before get started with the Android development. Uh, let me connect my keyboard. Yeah, just go to Google and then say Android Studio, and then the download link pop up. So this session will not cover how to install Android Studio, but this is something which these links which I can provide after the session so that you guys can get started. So this is the link which you have to click, and then there is some agreement you have to just say, and then you download for Windows. And since I have this is showing the Mac, and once you download, you will be seeing something like this in your screen. So this is the first screen when you download and install your Android Studio, which will come to the come to your whatever the OS you guys are using. It might be Windows or Mac, anything. Let's start with the so what we will be developing within this session is, I just want to give a which app are we going to develop. That's the one thing which I want to show first. So basically, it will be a very simple app for randomly generating a number within 1 to 10, or whatever the number which we want to limit as a maximum. Let's say if you want to be randomly generate a number from 1 to 10, just click on it, and then it will keep on generating a number within 10, and you can limit that number to 2, and then it will be just within 1 or 2. That's, so this is something very simple thing which we will start with. If the time permits, then we will go further. I'll be having some more examples coming out of the plan. That will discover later. So right now, if you guys are facing, if you have any question, if you don't have any questions, I can just start with the application. make sure you can stop me at any time, any point of time within whenever I'm going fast or might be if you're not understanding. So then please just stop me and ask me the questions right away. I'm open for it. Yeah. Now coming to the project, when you say the create project, it shows you all this part of screens. So these are the already created template from Google from Android Studio so that you can get easily started. Now, since we'll only concentrate on the empty activity because we don't have any knowledge on Android right now, let's consider it that way. And then we'll create only empty activity and we will name the application. In the next screen, we have to just name the application. It can be a random number and you can just give your package name. It can be random number. So the package name is com.random.number. So now the location where this project is going to reside in your computer. So this is the location. You can save it anywhere. Now I'm saving it in Android Studio projects. This is the folder which is already there in my laptop. You can see. So these are the Android projects which I have currently, but this application is going to save at that location. So now you have two options in the language. One is Java, one is Kotlin. Kotlin is the new Android language, so new language officially built by JetBrains, which is focused more for the Android development, and it has been made official from Google as well. Before we used to do using Java, but currently this session, since you guys might be familiar with the Java, I'll be continuing with the Java. I can do it in the Kotlin, but it will be very hard for you guys to understand. But later you can learn Kotlin but by just going to Google and then say JetBrains Kotlin phones, which will give a very hands-on tutorials for how to get started with the Kotlin thing, which is something you can take it later. Right now, let's come back to the thing. Now selecting Java and what is the minimum API level we want to support. So now coming to the choosing of how many devices you are going to support for Android. So help me choose, which will give you the number of devices being run in the all over the world. So this is the distribution level which we have. If you are targeting from ice cream sandwich, which is I don't think so anyone rarely has it in our thing right now. But this is the level which we can start supporting, or it can be supporting from the 21. But right now, most of our industry standards are being used with the lollipop because that's the minimum version. It will cover at least 95% of the distribution all over the world, whichever the devices we're having. And yeah, so it can give you all the what are the restricted profiles, wireless connectivity, what are the features within those things that we can see in this nice window. And then you need to just say finish. It will take some time to generate a sample project first, which is, if you can see this in this screen here, it is generating all the files required for a simple application, which will run and see what all it has been already automatically generated. So that let's let it finish its Gradle build, and then we can just go through the project files. It might take some time. If you guys have any questions until now, you can just ask me.
Yes, sir, Sachin, sir. There is one question.
Yeah,
So whatever you're doing, is this the same
yeah.
process which is possible with any Android mobiles? So this is the question.
Yeah, it's possible with any Android mobiles. That I'll come to that part because I will be showing whatever the devices we can just run on. It can be run on the Android Wear, which is watches. It can be run on the mobile devices. It can run on TV. So right now we are catering only for the mobile devices, and mobile devices can be of any type. It can be a tablet. It can be a simple phone like Android device, and anything, any Android devices can run these apps. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you so much. So I'll be, if there are any questions, I'll be bringing them up whenever.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for
sure. Okay. Thank you
I'll be
so much
happy
for
to answer.
answering that question. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Now let's continue with this thing. Right now, if you're saying this is the screen which should come up after you finish saying that I want to generate whatever the app name you want to give. After that, you should see this screen. And sometimes there might be a chance that you will not be able to see this project window. At that point, you just need to go V tool window and then project, which will show you this folder structure, what we have for the Android apps. So let me go through each and every part of this, because this is the first understanding you guys should know before starting any Android application development. So right now we'll see the manifest. Android manifest. What is Android manifest? Manifest, when Google launches, whenever your Android device launches your app, it will just go through this application XML tags. So what it will come to know from these tags is what all things this app is capable to do. Now, right now, our app is capable of launching this activity, and that activity is main activity, and it will be launched at the very first time. That's why it is the action is main and it is launched at the very first time. That's why the action is also launcher. The category is also launcher. So this is the file which is responsible for mentioning what all services, what all the screens you guys are showing to show in your app. So that will be, it's like a metadata of your app, where Android device will understand what all this app is capable to do. So now since we can see that you can mention your app icon, which will be showing it in your device. So this is the icon which you will be showing. You can change it to any drawable, any image that will come, that we can change it later. I can show it later. And you can see that label is the app name which you are going to see. Right now what we have named it as random number. That's why the name is showing as random number. And round icon. Now when it comes to round icon, now some devices are making it mandatory to have a round icon. Before it was used to be a very square only icon, but now coming to the lot of devices customized, and then they want to have it as a round icon as well. So that's why we have to give a round icon to the app as well. And it can be generated very easily, that I can show you. Supports RTL. So what is supports RTL is, some languages supports right side and some languages supports from the left side. So if you just command click or control click, it should be able to show that. No, it's okay. So this is something like when we write, we start from the right left hand side, and then some Arabic, if you know the language, it starts from the right side. So it's something like that. You just have that idea from this. It's okay if you don't know, understand this part. That's completely fine. It's not a blocker for us to understand much more things. And when it comes to theme, okay, now when it comes to theme, I want to show you a app. So theme, so this the time, the icons which you are seeing, the Wi-Fi icon, the network icon, or a battery icon, this has a dark blue thing which is called as a status bar, and after that comes the toolbar. So whatever the color you guys are giving at a theme, I'll show you it here. Color. So now these colors are from these theme. So your theme is basically whatever the color palettes you are going to use throughout the app. It will be mostly consistent throughout the screens of that particular app. If you see any of your WhatsApp app or Facebook. So these are the things which will be common throughout all the possible screens within the app. Either it can be chat, either it can be chat, live chatting, so that and anything. So these screens will be same across all the screens. So that's one thing about the theme. Uh, and then, as I said, it's a main activity. I'll come to this part now. Now we are going to. So, is there any questions for the Android manifesting?
So no, sir. Right now there is no. But is this something which only a professional can do, or is this something which an amateur can begin with?
Yeah, yeah. If you see, this requires two skills. One is language, which is it can be Java or Kotlin, and the other thing is Android SDK, which I am showing you right now. You have to know all your tools properly, like what all SDK provides, Android SDK provides. So these are the two skills if you have to develop that. I think any amateur can develop the apps, but just he has to give his 100% to learn the things better. And there are some resources he has to learn from, which already Google has provided a lot of resources, which you can just YouTube or Google. It will provide a lot of resources to learn Android app development. Any person can develop the apps. It can be a person from aged 80 or 70. It doesn't matter. It's the just the gel of what you want to learn. I think it that way.
Oh, thank you so much,
Does
sir.
that?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Does that? Let me continue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Perfectly.
Thank you. Now let's come to the Java, which we have already selected, and this is the package name. This is the package name, and this Android test and test. These two folders right now you guys can ignore. This is out of our scope for this session, because these are the sessions which will come in the advanced when we are a bit advanced on this. Right now we'll concentrate on the main activity which you have seen in the manifest file. If you see, this is the main activity. So I'll not explain what is the activity, because that is a kind of a theory where you can just go to Google and just say what is app compat activity. This is something which you can ignore right now for this session. But basic thing what I will tell is there are some methods which this activity provides: on start, on stop, on pause, on resume. I'll give a bit idea on how things work for this particular thing. Now, let's say when we do this thing right now, the app is in the pause state. Now, app doesn't interact with anything until we just click on that. It is not interacting. The buttons are not interacting. It's just popping back and coming front. So this is the state where it is called as on pause. So whenever you want to do any action related to this state, then it goes in the on pause. Now, whenever it comes back and you want to resume something which we are already doing, that goes to the resume. And right now, when you usually close the app, then it goes to on stop. So these are the methods which are responsible for app developer to act upon it whenever the device is in the pause state or resume state or on stop state. But right now, let's only concentrate on create. On create is called when the app has been launched. After that, it doesn't call this function. It will be only called very second time when the app has been killed and again reopened. So right now we'll just get rid of all these functions which will not, to make you not confused. Okay, now we'll only be concentrating on the on create function. So on create, when it is being called, it is being called only when the app has been launched. Like, I'll just show you where is this application. Let's say, yeah, now this will be called. That's all. Now we haven't run the app until, and how to run the app. I'll just show you. Since I have already my emulator running, I don't want to let me create another emulator, because that will be easy for you guys to understand how to create an emulator and run that. So one thing is, when you are running the app, it can be run on the physical devices as well as the emulator. If the person doesn't have a physical device, but still he want to learn Android Studio, if he has a laptop, then he can do it. This is the way he can do it from the Android Studio. Now creating a virtual device, which will give you a list of phones. If you see, these are the phones which are Google centric. You can't develop anything for OnePlus or Samsung or any other third party mobile devices, because it will cater for those devices as well. But in the emulator, it will be very centric to Google devices. So since Google develops this Pixel, Nexus, so these phones are allowed in this emulator. So these are the images which we can understand, where we can create the emulated devices. Emulation is just simulation of something which is not actual. So that's the term. And now if you see the category, you can just create an emulator for TV, phone, Wear OS. Wear OS is something watch. So it's a smartwatch where people wear smartwatches. So we can build applications for them as well, and that can be tested with the Wear OS as well. And there are tablets which we have, usually we have tablets, if you guys know about it. And there are automotive. So these are not our right now, not the scope of our thing. Let's get to phone, and we'll create an emulator, emulator one device, which can be Google Pixel. Anything can be fine. And then you have the OS recommended API level is 30 right now. You can create, sorry, any API level right now. You can have it for S. So these are the pre-released version for Android developers. These are not yet in the market, but you can still run those OS in your emulated devices. So you guys have any questions until now related to the emulation? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry, I thought I lost you guys. Okay. Now, when you create this emulation, it will give you what is the screen device, what is the screen 181080, what is the length and the breadth of the screen, which is the drivable resources which is going to be used, and also what is the OS it is going to work on. So this is the brief of your phone which will be emulated, and then you just say finish. It will create a virtual device for you. Now it will take some time. Yeah. Now, since the virtual device has been created, now the selected one, which is already now newly created, you can just click on the run button, which will launch the Android virtual device. It will take some time to boot up for the very first time, but after that it will be very frequent. Now, since we know how to create our Android virtual device, whenever you click on the run button, it will run on that particular device, which is selected here. If you want to have more devices selected, you can just click on the other device, select multiple devices, and then select on multiple devices run at one time. Right now, we will be concentrating on only one device, which is already having this device. And now we are running the app to show what it built from the very first time when the app generated. It will just have hello world in the screen, and how it looks. Let's see. Let's wait for the app to install it on the emulated device. So that is already done by the Android Studio. You guys don't no need to worry about it. You just need to hit this run button, which will make sure the app is being installed in the phone and it is being launched.
Sachin sir, in the meantime, there is one question.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So can we create two emulations at one time, both running different functions?
Yeah, because see, I have created already two devices right now. So it can run it. The only part is if your RAM is capable, your laptop, if your whatever device you're using, it can be a Windows or anything. So the RAM should be capable enough to handle these emulations. It's very heavy job. You see, the memory being used for the RAM is very high when the studio have minimum of 4 GB. 4 is like minimum, but still, yeah. Say 4 is the 4 GB is recommended from the Google itself. Ideal requirement is something which you can just Google for Android Studio, and then you can run any number of devices on it. That's completely fine.
Okay, great, sir. Thank you.
So right now it's taking time because we have to two devices. That close this. It's run two devices right now. It's their time. So this is how you can stop the emulator. Right, since it's closing, it's emulator stop right now. Yeah, it's already closed. Yeah, Gradle has finished its job. Now it is installing. If you can see the install here in the screen. Launching the activity. The launching activity is the activity which we already have mentioned in the manifest. Now it has launched the activity and you are just seeing a blank screen right now, but it should show a hello world. I think it's not yet properly launched. I'm just waiting to see what. Yeah, now it's properly launched. Now if you see, this is the toolbar which has our app name and there is a hello world. This is one text view which has been showing. And where this screen coming from, that is something which I wanted to show. That's why I was showing this screen. Now let's get to the onCreate function. If you see, there is a set content view. This function, this method will make sure what is the screen you want to load for this particular activity. So right now, this screen is an activity, which is main activity. What is that screen we want to show? That is activity underscore main, which will be in the layout as a folder structure. Let's go to the folder structure, resources, and then layout, which will have activity underscore main. This is where you will create all your views. Whatever the screen you want to show in that particular activity, that comes within this, that will be creating here. Right now, if you see, there is a text view, which is centered and which is within the constraint layout. So let's understand first thing, what is constraint layout? So when you have multiple views within one screen and it has to be aligned with one of the layout. So when you have a lot of views and then group of views within one thing is called constraint layout. Right now, you can have any number of layouts. It can be a relative layout, which can be related with the views, It can be a linear layout, which can be linear at vertical or horizontal. But now, right now, we'll be only concentrating on the constraint layout. Now we'll get rid of this hello world text. Just need to select and delete. If you can do it in another way, just select this and then right click and then say delete, which will delete the view. Why we deleted this view? Because we have the idea of creating another screen. I'll just show you what we are going to create again once. Yeah, so this is the screen which we are going to generate. So right now, if you see, our layout is empty, which has nothing to do. We have only right now we'll start creating that screen. So first thing, we have to drag a view. It can be, right now we'll be dragging a button. Now if you see, dragging a button, you can place it at anywhere in the screen, but it should be bound with some of the constraints. So to position the button in particular screen at a particular level, if you see in the app, it's already positioned at the bottom of the screen. Now I want to do that. You can just drag it down at any point. Now this will not make sense because it can be, if you go to the different devices and check, you can just check in different devices how it is going to look. You can just click on different devices and see. Now the position which we made before was here, but for this device it went to it has been the margin has been increased. So to make sure that this is always at the bottom, then we have to constrain it all the four sides. Right now we'll be constraining it is bottom and constraining it to the left and constraining it to the right. This is enough. The top is not required right now because these three constraints are more than enough to align the position at the bottom. Now, if you go and see at any device, it will be always in the bottom of this or bottom of any device. It can be a tablet or anything. It will be always at the bottom. So right now, we'll be concentrating on the pixel. So we'll be having a pixel scene. Now, if you see, though it is aligned at the bottom, I want it to be given a bit margin at the bottom. If you see, there is a space between the bottom as well. So that we can achieve at the layout inspector in the right side. If you see, there is this inspector thing, which will give you. Now, if you see, this is some, so there is a margin now, right now, bottom. Now, 8 is the left side, 8 is the right side, and then you just need to click. Guys, so this is how the button looks right. I think the positioning of the layout has been changed. Yeah, now it's correct. Okay, now if you see, there is 8 dp, which you can consider right now as a pixels. If you guys understand pixel, now it can be increased. It can be 32. If you see that there is a 32 space being given, it can, but the industry standards right now usually is 8 or 16 maximum. It can be anything, but material design guidelines are something which we should follow when we are developing something. That's something you can learn over the time. That's not a right now a block of us. So this is how you create a button. Now let's go to the screen again. Now there is something called seek bar here. So this line with the dotted is called as a seek bar in Android, which you can search here as seek bar, which will be discrete, and then you just need to drag and drop above the button. Now again we need to constrain with the position of this in the screen. We just need to constrain it bottom, left, sorry, right and left both. Now, since it's very attached to the button, we need to give some space between the button and the seek bar. I'll be going to create a bottom margin, which is, let's say, 24 right now, and then 8 dp left, 8 dp right. And just you have to click on wrap content, which is taking the very minimal size of the thing and match right now, which will elaborate it is when until the given margin it can elaborate. It can go until the when we have already given that 8 dp as a left margin and 8 dp as a right margin. Until that, this view will be visible. You can just give 24 as well. So you can resize the seek bar until whatever the margin you want, right and left, as well as same goes for the bottom and top. So right now we have created these two views. So there is how many? So this is something which this is a text which we are giving for the user to understand from how many number we are generating the random number. So what is the maximum limit of the number which we are going to generate randomly a number from this? So you can call it as a maximum limit as well. So we have to create a text view now saying how many. So just select a text view and again drag and drop. It says text view, and now assign it to, you can constrain it to the top of the seek bar, where now it will make sure that bottom of the text view is always on the top of the seek bar, and you can give margin. So if it is being confusing, or if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Is there any questions right now, Imran?
Yes, sir. There is one question.
Yeah.
So before creating any app, is it necessary to download Android Studio?
Yeah, of course, it's very necessary for any person to develop Android Studio. He has to have his weapons, right? Like that way, Android IDE is must and compulsory for the person to develop the Android apps. There is no other way we can just develop the Android apps.
Okay, thank you. So a follow-up quick question is, so if we create any app using the Android Studio, so is this something like a copyright issue which has the
Nothing
ownership
copyright
stamp on it?
issues.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
there is nothing like copyright issues. If you can just Google for the Android, because if you see in the very first time when I showed you of sorry. So here Android Studio, the Google itself is providing you already all this Android Studio download button. Whenever you click on that, there is this agreement. You're already you are already agreeing the terms for whatever you are going to do with this Android Studio. So this is
Okay.
this should not limit you guys to learn, develop, push it to GitHub, Play Store, anything. It is not an issue. We will not be paying anything. Will not be restricted from any person on that.
Okay, thank you so much. So this is somewhat like an open source. The Android Studio is an open source.
Yeah, it's a open source. It's a open source. Android completely operating system itself is a open source. You can customize any part of Android. Like if you can see right now, Samsung has its own open source. It has customized Android for its own being. Like OnePlus has customized its Android for its own OS, for its own devices. So that way, it's very eh, so for us to develop Android applications, no one is going to restrict. In fact, Google will help you guys to do that. I'll tell you how Google is going to help us to achieve these things. Might be after the session. Right now,
Okay.
since we are created the layout, I'll just so here this text view is coming from the text which is already been assigned when we create a view. You can just say how many here and then say enter. It will reflect on the screen. Now, if you want to increase the text size, you just need to go and say text size 14 to 20. It increased automatically. Now we are going to have this number. So this is also again a text view, which can be at the center. I have to make sure that it is above this for sure. All right. Yeah. Now, since again it says text view, we are just going to clear that thing and will not give any value for this. It will be empty right now because this value will be generating a number whenever we are hitting the button. It should reflect, the number should reflect here. That's why we are not assigning any default value for this. It will be empty for the very first time. And now, since we have created all our required view, there is one error being showing from the how many. So this warning should not be there. When you create the layout, these warnings should be already clear. Now, what is the warning we are getting is, yeah, if you see, it is only aligned at the bottom. It is not knowing how to show when it is where to show in the left side, and that's where we have to make sure it is left constraint as well. And now if you see, the warnings has been clear. So these warnings are fine, but we can still fix them by just giving right side. But it should be right now we'll not concentrate on the right side thing. It will be much more confusing because I can do that, but that will confuse you a bit. Right now these warnings are fine, but the error should not be there. These are the warnings which will make you when you are good at creating views, then you should concentrate on how to get rid of these things as well. Now we are good with the view. If you guys have any questions related to the view, how to create the view, what is the constraint layout, what is the buttons, any questions or something like that?
So this is regarding something of a device configuration that the question comes. So in order to create this, do we need memory in terms of creating in any device, a laptop or a desktop computer? Do we need a well-defined configuration for doing such kinds of things? Is the question here.
Oh, okay. IDE requirements Android Studio. Just hit on it. It should redirect me to that thing, but it's not. Okay. System requirements. If you have Windows, so this is the recommended system requirements you should at least have. If you see, I was saying 4 GB, but they have increased it to 8 GB now. When I was starting development, that time 4 GB was the recommended. But since Android Studio does a lot of things for you, then obviously it requires its own memory from the laptop or the computer, whatever you guys are using. So these are the minimum requirement when you create any app. It should be minimum. These are the requirements from the laptop or desktop or whatever the thing which you are using. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Great. Thank you. Thank you. So there are a couple of follow-up questions regarding this. So do we have any simulation where we don't want to install Android Studio in our system? Is there any such simulation?
No, nothing such. So you are, if I understand you correctly, you want to develop an Android app from online, or
Yeah,
might be
without
from the
using the
website.
Android Studio.
Yeah, there are things that way, but that is not the recommended way, where you will not be learning anything. You will be just dragging and dropping things. There are things that were recently Flutter with Cia. Flutter has introduced something for getting started very quickly for don't want to learn Android development, but still they want to make an Android apps or iOS apps. So those people can do, but that's not recommended for the students. Students, since they already know programming languages, they already know how to work with the views. So this is something which I would recommend to just learn from the Android Studio thing itself, not from the other third party, whatever the tool you guys are looking at.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So, how
Yeah,
do
please go
we
ahead.
add any animation? So that is the next question.
Animation is very it's not an easy thing to add easily for you guys. It can be done, but it's something which will require some more. First we'll get the basics right, and then we can start something like animations and whatever the things you want to achieve in that can be done. So I'm right now only concentrating on people should get started with the Android application development very easily, and they should make sure that they know basics right, and then we can come to the animations, is what my understanding.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Related to the view, are we having any questions? Are you guys following up what I'm already presenting?
Yes, sir. So does this support multiple screens, like supporting both
Yeah,
mobile and tablet screens?
yeah, of course, of course. If you see,
Okay.
I was just showing that thing. You just need to select the screen whichever you want. Now you can select from phone, tablet, VR, TV. So it's supporting every possible screens.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
This is automotive is something in the dashboard in the cars we can see.
Mhm.
So it will be represented there. And we have tablets, wearables, and the phones. Yeah. And one more thing, might be when you create a layout, uh, you might end up showing your Android Studio might end up showing something like this, which is blueprint as well as the design. But if you want only the design, you just need to toggle between them. If you want only blueprint, you can just select them. So right now we'll be only concentrating on the design. That's why we have this way. This is landscape. When the orientation of the phone has been changed, how the layout looks like. When the orientation is portrait, this is how the layout looks like. So now since we are done with the activity main, we have created all our required views, and you can see the code which is already being generated. So this is the code being generated in the backend from the Android Studio, where what it was doing is whenever you're dragging and dropping the things, it was already generating this part of code. And if you see, there is a constraints which we were giving like 16 dp, and to the bottom, which is called as a parent. Now, if you see the seek bar, which is constrained to the bottom of seek bar, bottom is constrained to the top of the button. So that if you see here, it's mentioned clearly, constraint bottom to the top of the button. So this is how the code is being automatically generated. But for you guys to get started, it's very easy to just drag and drop things and make sure these warnings are clear. So now since we have created our layout, we'll just go to the main activity and wire up the things with the views to generate to provide our business logic, or what we call right now, we want to generate a random number, then we'll just go and see how we can do it in the Java code. Because right now, what we have done is we have just created the views. But when you click on the button, how to react, so that will happen only from the activity files. So that we'll start doing. But before that, I want to make sure that just given the valid IDs for each and every view. Yeah. So this is text view 2. So usually I'll make sure that IDs are unique, and it will be always unique when you drag and drop. That will not be same as other views, but we will give it a meaningful names. Now what we'll give the meaningful name for this ID is text view random number. So this ID, so this view, this text view has a name now of text view random number, and button has just a button. Seek bar is a seek bar. That's fine. Now it will be easy for us to wire up these views in the Java. So first let's wire up button with the code. Just need to click button. You can just give button random number is equals to, just need to cast the button. So I'll just show you what I have done is, so already our Android SDK provides find view by ID. This is the function. What it will do is it will return us a view. If you see, there is a view which is being returned. So what we are saying is we want to find a view by ID which is button, and that view should be casted as a button. That is because every view which we see in the XML or activity main, here button, seek bar, text view, any views here are, at the end of the day, the base is always view. That's why when we are referencing from the XML to the Java, we will make sure that we will find view by ID and then cast it accordingly, whatever the view is. It can be a button, seek bar, anything. That's why this function, this line, what it does is it will just find the view and then make sure this is a button. So now from here we can just again connect some more, like seek bar. Button, seek bar, and the text view. It will also, now since we have two text views, one is how many, which is a ID has text view, and the another one is text view random number. But what we want to wire up is text view random number. So now we are ready to write a logic. So this is how we wire up all the button, seek bar, and text view in the code. Now when you hit a button, it should generate a number. To do that, you first need to give a click listener, on click listener, to a button. So what it does is whenever there is a whenever someone hits the button, it will this function will be called. So this function will be called, and we have to make sure what we are going to achieve when we are hitting that button. Now, what we will be doing is, right now, we will be generating a random number that will be like new random. If you guys know Java, new random is a class which will generate a number from giving a next int, but this next int should have a maximum number. So this is something which it will generate from 32, but we want it to be generated from the seek bar's maximum progress. So what we'll do is seek bar has a progress which is maximum 10 by default. That's why we were able to see that it was generating within 10. When we make it maximum, when we are lessening it, it will generate within that. So the number which is going to be generated will be generated from the seek bar's maximum progress. So this is what I want to convert. Now you can see there are typos as well. The Android Studio will recommend you to fix all your typos. So I was given a wrong, it is a spelling mistake here. If you see now the spelling mistake has been corrected. Now what we will now, since from this function what we are generating is a random number, but we want to show it in the text view. So how to do that is text view, which is already here, which we have already wired up, dot set text. Set text will accept a string. It can be a character sequences as well, but it will not accept integer. But if you see, we have a random number as an integer. What we'll do is we'll concatenate string, empty string with random number. So now we are good to run the app and see what we have achieved with the app. Yeah, now our app has been, okay, that was the previous app which I was showing. Yeah, if you see, this number is empty. In the number in the middle is being empty because we didn't generate any number right now. That's why it is empty. But when we hit a button, it is showing me 0. Okay, it is 0, 1, 2. It will be generating a number within 3 now. Now I'll make sure that the centered button, centered text view size is more. Let us increase the size. That will be easy for you guys to see. Now it is 14 pixel. We can increase it to 144 right now. 144 SP. Now the number's text size has been increased. You just, whenever you click on do on hitting the button, it will each time generate a random number within that maximum thing. You can just increase the number and see. Now it can go, the number can go up to 9. See, the number can limit to 9. Now if we limit the maximum number generation, then you can just see, pull the sig bar down. It will just generate within those two. 0, 1, 2 is the maximum it will be generating. So this is what we developed right now. You guys have any questions?
So no, sir. Right now, there are no questions.
Okay. So if you have any Java questions, Java related questions, which we generated the number right now.
Yes, sir. There is one question related to this. So, can we change the theme colors?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. You just need to go to the values and then select themes. Now themes, when it comes to, there are two files here. Themes, which is the light one, which is the night one. So this is it will react only when the dark mode is enabled within the device. Now we have something called dark mode, right? Which we have for all the phones. You just need to select the dark mode and see what it reflects in the dark mode and what it reflects in the light mode. Now you enable the dark mode. Now the whole app, the phone itself is in the dark mode, but still our app, okay, our app is reacting to the dark mode right now this way. If you want to change the colors right now for this, you just need to change in the themes.night mode. If you want to change the color for light one, then you have to make sure that you change the theme color in the themes.xml file. And how do you change the colors? If you see, there is color file which has all these possible colors right now. And now what color? Let's give it a teal. Sorry. For the primary and for the dark as well. Both the same color. Now what we have to do is just make sure it's in the light mode again instead of the dark mode. Dark mode is something which you can concentrate later once you learn most of the things. But I wanted to make sure that why there are two files. That's why I don't want to confuse you. That's why I'm showing you what is dark mode and the light mode. Okay, this is not our app, which is something that I have built before. Okay, now if you run the app, then you'll be able to see the color difference in the. Yeah, if you see, there is teal color being showing in the status bar as well as the toolbar.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir. Thank you. There are two questions here now. So the first one
Yeah,
is, uh, can we know what exactly bundle is?
what is bundle?
Yes, sir. If maybe the person who has asked this question, maybe they can elaborate on this, maybe a follow-up
Yeah, you can.
question on this question.
If you can unmute that guy, he can be asking. He might ask the question. Whatever the way you want to ask.
Yeah, while I do that, sir, there is one question. How to develop two-digit number?
Oh, developing for that two-digit number in the app itself, right? So for that, you can just go to the progress and see. If you see the seek bar, we have given the maximum as 10. It can be increased to 100 as well. And each time the progress we are already being set to 3, it can be set to 0 as well. Now if you see how it will react. Oh, sorry. The random number generator got crashed. Now we have to, it's good thing it crashed, because I wanted to make sure it's not the happy moments you will be coding. There will be some things happening like this. How to resolve those errors? Now we made sure that when there is a crash, why did crash happen, and where to check when the crash happens. So that's one thing which we have to figure out. Now if you see, when we have this random number generator, and if there is empty screen and if you hit the button, there is a crash. And to to see what went wrong, we have to make sure we are in the logcat of the Android Studio, which will give all the possible logs for this app. Now, if you see the reason for why the crash is, it's already been given here. It's an illegal argument exception. Bound must be positive. And if you go to the main activity, and if you see next integer, it's when we gave by default the progress was 0, and to generate a random number within 0 is the illegal argument exception from the function itself. If you see, if bound is less than or equals to 0, it will throw an error. So this function, which should be at least given a one or 2. So that means this function will take numbers starting from 1 to any number. So that's why now what we'll do is go to the seek bar progress and make sure we'll enter minimum as 1. Now it should not crash when you run that. It will generate only 0 because we have given a minimum of so progress is always 1. Now if we increase this progress to 100, then it will generate 2 numbers. It is generating a numbers within 100. That's the maximum. That's the idea behind how to generate a random number.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. That was a very quick improvisation by you, and opportunity presented itself when the app which you are rightly creating for this session crashed, and how to recover that. That was brilliant, sir. So I'm going to unmute the participant who has a couple of questions to ask you, and maybe she can directly ask you, sir, if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure, please go.
Okay, sir. Okay, great.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Sir, I just wondered, like in main activity, there is already built-in few functions, right, which IDE is providing. If you see in main activity, which is going to extend app compact activities, is it an interface?
It's not an interface. You see, it's again a class.
Okay, like extend we are using, right? So I wondered, like it is like
no, whenever there is an interface in Java, you will make sure that it will be implemented. It will not be extended. Let's say we want to, okay, I can give an example. Now we have this click listener, right? It is an interface. Now see, this is an interface. Now we can add it on the class level as well. This will make sure implement on click listener, and then you have to override the functions within this on click. Now on click is the function which we need to override. That's why there is an error being thrown here, because we haven't overridden that function. I just need to implement the members, and you have to make sure what is required. On click is required. Then now this is how you implement any interface from the for the class in Java.
Okay.
And then
and you can see here in on create, we can see that some bundle and save instant state is there, right? Many students have asked regarding this, like what exactly this bundle is or those stuffs.
Oh, okay. That will require some more example, which I am short in time, but I'll quickly explain what is bundle. So right now, when we have when you are starting this activity, if you want to pass some saved instance before what it was doing, like if you go to the, I'll show you an example. If you go to the pause state and then come to the resume state, so that way, same like that, when you click on any app right now which has 2 screens, I'll just show you. Okay, now let's go to Gmail. Gmail, we have one screen. Okay, this is the screen. Now when we click on this particular email, it should open that email, right? So how is these 2 screens connected? When we click on this itself, it will open this the detail page of this. How is this happened is there are two screens. One is main activity, and it can be another one can be called second activity, something.
Like intents, using intents, I guess we are going to connect.
Yeah, that's how. You will just pass a string or integer or whatever the values. You can just pass it through the intent to the next activity, and then it will capture the it will grab that value and you can just show it. But this is where the bundle comes into the picture. We just need to get that value from that bundle. That's why the bundle is already from the super from that fragment activity itself. We will get that bundle. For the very quick answers of what you can just control click that bundle. It will always give you the minimum documentation required, like what is bundle and where it is being used. So these things we can just quickly see within this function itself.
Okay, sir. Thank
Does that clears your thing?
you. Yes. Yes, sir. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just glancing the chat box to see if there are any more questions regarding
Yeah, please.
this session. Mm. Okay, so there is one last question. Can we delete the app if we want after we have created it?
Delete the app from the app we created. You just need to uninstall the app from the phone which you have already developed, right? You just need to go to the phone and just say uninstall it. It will be allowed, or it can be deleted this way. It's the same way
Okay.
what we how we normally use all the apps.
Okay, sir. Okay. 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 Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. After completing this code thing, I'll just wanted to give some ideas on how Google is going to help us develop Android apps and where to go from this after this session. So that's one thing I wanted to present you guys. That's why I have made sure this code labs and everything is open. So guys who want to be an Android developer or want to start Android development and make sure that you want to be within the community, then you have to make sure that you go to this developers.android.com and learn the Android developer fundamentals. And how to do that, there are already a code labs. So you will be first developing your Android hello world. If you want to create scroll views or to create your activities and the intents, there are the questions related to this. If you want to explore some more, then you can just go to this website and then make sure there is already a code labs being provided by Google. Just go to them and make sure you just follow the steps, each step by step, and then it will be easily understandable for you to get started with the basics. You will learn the basics and then go to the user experience or animations or how to save the data, how to push it to the server, how to use Firebase is something which you can save the data to server and then retrieve it back to the phones. So these are the some things which you guys need to explore after completing the session and you want to start developing from the Android Studio. So these links I'll be providing with the lecturers so that they can help you get started with these things.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you so
that's it.
much. Thank you so much. The final question here is how to release the app to the Google Play Store. I think this is much advanced. Okay.
Yeah, it's a much advanced question, but yeah, it's a bit, but still a valid question. If you just need to go to the Android Studio, and then you just need to generate a signed APK. And then when you generate a signed APK, you need to key store and you need to generate a key store, and you have to make sure you pass all these forms, and then it will generate a signed APK. which you can just go to. Give a second. Play Store Developer Console. So this is the minimum use the console. Okay, so these are the some apps which I had built in when I was working for the so when I was in college. At that time, I used to develop these apps. I have not been developing any more apps right now. I have to get started. Okay, these are the apps. This is how you. So this Google Play Store Developer Console will not be enabled for each and every person. There is some amount being required from the Google to make sure you are very much dedicated, because you will be already paid some amount. Then you will make sure that at least you will upload an app. You can consider it that way. And there is some amount which Google also required to maintain your all the apps within the Play Store. There will be so this is the cost which you have to pay. So that cost, if you change to when you are entering at a Google Developer Console, then you will be asked that cost. When you pay that cost, you will be able to see this dashboard, and from here you can just create an app and give the name and whatever. If it's a game or if it's a free or paid version, you can just select them and you can just upload the APK, and then your app will be live in the Play Store after a couple of reviews from the Google. It will take some 3 hours.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I think we'll wrap up the Q&A session now because of the constraint of time. So we'll move on to, thank you so much, sir. Your hands-on expertise, like I said in the beginning of this session, really came as a boon to not only the faculty of the college and the faculty from colleges all around the nation, but also the students who are very much excited now, so that you have given the basics of how to develop an app, and maybe your plan of expanding the members and participants to the Android developing team can bear some fruits from this region also. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Moving on to the last bit of the session today. So the best way of extending gratitude is through the kind words which enable us to remember anything which we hold dear to us. So to extend his gratitude and thanks on behalf of everyone present here today, I call upon Professor S.Y. Patil sir, the head of the Department of Computer Science of SSMS College, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, Patil sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to record my heartfelt thanks to Sri Sachin Kasareddy sir, resource person of today's international webinar, for sharing their valuable knowledge with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I also thankful to our beloved principal S.L. Patil sir for the right logistic support and guidance for this webinar. I also thankful to R.F. Inchal sir, Professor U.G. Patikar, coordinator of IQAC, and Kiran Madalgi, Professor Imran Mullah sir. Last but not least, I'm very thankful to all the participants who made this webinar a grand success. Thank you very much, one and all, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I must also extend my heartfelt thanks and my sincere gratitude to our technical expert, Praveen sir, for again taking out his time and helping us with his technical logistics. Thank you so much, Praveen sir. To the participants, the feedback form link will be provided to you on the appropriate Telegram app as well as the WhatsApp group app. So you can just fill in the form and the certificates will be available to you. So thank you once again, Sachin sir, for being here with us. And uh, for me, at least from someone who comes from humanities background, though it looked very easy when you were doing it, and hopefully I will try to do, this task of creating an app, because education sector needs a lot of app in this epidemic situation. So thank you once again, all of us, for joining here, and hope to see you soon on this platform again. So if you want, you can please subscribe to our college channel on the YouTube. You just type in KLE SSMS College, and the college is organizing very beautiful and very informative sessions throughout for the past 1 month at least, and we hope to do this again in the near future. Also, you can subscribe and you can join us to our channel, so that you can we can be enriched with the sessions that are coming in the near future, just like the overall experience of enjoying to develop an app that Sachin sir has experimented to us today. Thank you so much, and hope we meet again very soon. Thank you.
Yes, Imran sir, like, will I stop the online streaming?
Yes, sir, please, sir.
Yeah, okay. Almost there we had 80